has handed over power to someone they contested. President Rawlings handed over power to Kufuor. They contested in 1996, isn't it? Yes. President Kufuor handed over power to who? Atta Mills. They contested again in 2000 and 2004, isn't it? Yes. And then Atta Mills unfortunately passed away and gave it to John Mahama in terms of he was elected. But the Mills Mahama government handed over power to who? Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo, whom Mahama had contested. And Nana Akufo-Addo has also handed power to who? To John Mahama, whom he contested. So now, who is John Mahama going to hand over power to? It's clear. Your mama will hand over power to Dr. Mahamudu Bawumia. That is what is going to happen.
All former constituency executives, Nemfanko region, Nemfama national, now former MPs, former DCEs. So, and they say, area be on say, Yediba, a friend say, Amanonia. Instead of taking just a number of people, all the executives at the very least can vote. To me, here and I'm doing such a catastrophe, and I'm sending Coma committee, electoral, my friend saying, National Council. Yes. Now, Miss Andy can say, I dare back where her party for no, and it's a super delegates. And Nipano knows Nipani about 800. They said, we will scar. Wait me at 400. Na I say a banner. Nti eno so no. Si benya yenyin free ho. And I'm a car says, see it me be electoral college nim. Na adada for because they say we share electoral college here wise say 2022 there. Me come back to 2018. One more anya kwan me join we no. Omo metubi. Yenko 2014. Ni yenko 2010. Beyond 2010, and here is world executive. Nipana wu so we in one or tias there. If you say ye man to be. Because I didn't hear me cancer and me see a young lady be. Now the mammy a woman organizer. I checked 96. And Busan said about the general. They say the MPP no. I'm saying na me mammy there no more yen. And they quiet friend. Till I'm calling na a pie chino. Because politics there, you build it with your core family and then extended family. There's almost a papa bi and now almost a fabi. Eddie chairman, ewo bodumasi. Na ordini sika na ho ordini bibia ye adwuma. Na nne ye kwa ye mfre no. Ye mfa ne nya hwe ya. Ufu se ne mane ne yire. Na se me ko kuma se me frɛ old chairman bi. So mo na me no mo nyi nkomo na mu so o madu. But I friend me say, oh yes, already. No, they say, oh man, no, MPP. Let's say, you look at some man, ne man bed. Until until I'm a cast say, to me, take his step. No, near say, when you munyam, near catch home say, we are giving them a voting right, everybody. And no, a bed Kenya pattern, no on its own. Anna, I dear me who me be a general secretary, Kakre, me be inherited about 7 constituencies. Bia ho de na trouble ho papa me am krom se chefo too free mampon badwaben ejoso efija se kwa na hoju kaka aguna ene eyi mansia not ho no mo ta change MPs nti se MP we free oba electoral college no wa UBF no do bia be she ukọ joso a yes ejonkuma abeyi your friend say Adiomi Nkrofo uko so Adiomi Nkrofo so Adiomi so abeyi o say Adiomi Nkrofo na che say nipa pii titi abonte a omudi yawo enu nti na ma independent candidates ni ade agogo no nyina aka ho asante achim ene kwada so amen now akwa independent candidate nti say etimi ye sisan constitution no na ka say Why a former executive that who are voting right? The infamy in America almost say no. One, a baby college no. Yet you could be 1 million people voting. And these are verifiable MPP stalwarts. So, I don't know, and you're likely to be cast a minimum waste to make me a cotume in Aka. If you have a 100 and not 2 and so you're the best and Nipano, Abrabwa, a bed distorted election. But I didn't want to say, because I say me, and some and so. Na say le binum so adwen efiva na mka say ensa naka the way a party more heated say it me biem wie dia kayen to presidential no kan because me hu ade bi si okumasi na nsia anya me de say baby ahye na MPP for say ekoya doye presidential candidate Dr. Memia Okoye ono ne wani me call separately edutu Ekoye Brian Champon Ekoy, Kennedy Japan Ekoy, Party General Secretary so Ekoy, and Sana a party MP say a federal market no so. And the optics Nana Ghana for. So we are showing us a disjointed bunch of leaders. So anka ye nyina nim se ye wa yi no san go bi fem na kwabra wo de nko bi nam se da bi de ekoso no me mani nyi ho me ade a mani nyi ho so de I will not associate with it nka obia de ni sika kabom ene e free party chairman ni general secretary se ene mu kokra e bedi machi ni akoye ka efe you have been bigger in say dey nimunyam be ma party no obia person no nko agi say nimunyam and the individualism no and yet now after December 7th that electoral cycle finished Japan we revert to our former rules and we support the chairman and the general secretary who are the two principal officers of the party and the chairman what they menu nya kakra about say we say candidates yemi there be when we were going into election in 1990
is Honorable Ebenezer Doku, the immediate past MCE for Adenta Municipality. Ebenezer Doku, immediate past MC for Dr. Adenta and a staunch believer in the Dr. Bamia campaign. Yeah, you can ask a few questions. 220. Yes. It wasn't true. Wait, let's.
Thank you very much. It is absolutely so. You yourself, the media, sitting and watching the delivery, it tells you that we have a material that we cannot afford to miss. He spoke about political consistency. The maintaining of the candidate has always paid off. When you look at the trajectory of all our candidates we produce, from President Kufuor to Nanado, it tells you that when you repeat him, it is possible we can cross the line. So for me, I've always been a Bawumia fan from day one, because I know that he's a man that is going to win the power for us come 2024. Notwithstanding that, we need to put our house in order. And let me use this opportunity to tell all the rank and file, both the elders, the seniors, and the rank and file, we should all come together. We should be careful the way we talk. When we do that, we are giving information to the NDC to come back and attack us. So I pray that the election that is fixed for the 1st of January for the presidential election is going to end all these rancor and all these differences that is coming. That is the beauty of democracy. everybody has his choice. And immediately the elections is done, we'll all come together. And we're going to have a lot of 3 years to campaign for Dr. Bawumia. So NDC, they should be prepared. I'm also coming for national organizer. So you can imagine, with Dr. Bawumia as our flag bearer, that was global as a national organizer, there's a lot of work that we're going to do. And I'm so hopeful that the party, the delegates are going to give him the mandate to lead our party come the 2028 elections.
Don't you think other flag bearer hopefuls sees this as a betrayal?
That is the beauty of democracy. In our party, we don't stop people. We give everybody the platform to come and try. Of course, since he's ahead of them, there is no way they can beat him. You understand? There is no way. It is good. They are all coming to try their lucks for future elections in the party. So let's give everybody an opportunity. Anybody who wants to contest should be given the opportunity to come and try his luck. We are not going to stop anybody. We are not going to discourage anybody. In fact, that should also make us stronger at the end of the elections. Because the foundation of MPP is competition. When you try to suppress people, when you try to deny people, that is why you disintegrate. But immediately you bring everybody on board, and at the end of the day, and the majority of the people chooses that this is the man that we're going with. Why not? So I am hopeful. And
we will win the power to get. I will not win. We will win. We will win. And if there are any spoils, we will share. For the benefit of our party and our country. So that is my invitation to MMDCs. If you do it, we will hear it. If you don't do it too, we will hear it. Me, I don't leave my men behind. I don't leave my people behind.
If I win, it is Bawumia, the flag bearer, who will hand over to me as flag bearer. And handing over the win. Yes.
Novinho Ghana to me dogbe na mi. Egba me vave mi adoje. Me do amo ne Ghana duko kata be wa fufu enyagere o chomi akpe party MPP. Eta me kukudem na mi nova mi akpere o emi akata mi awodeka na party a pengoyi achiglinyi ega vavage akpe na mi kata.
Dear patriots, dear countrymen, let me begin by expressing appreciation to every one of you for the show of love, concern, and support during my tenure as the Minister for Education of the Republic of Ghana. The last few months, wherever I go, people will come to me and tell me how much they appreciate the work that I did for this country. I never expected such commendations from people on the street. My life journey has been defined by service not just to causes but to people. As Vice Chairman of the New Patriotic Party in California, I led efforts that mobilized resources and support for our party's victories in Ghana. Far from home, we stood firm in loyalty and contributed meaningfully to Ghana's democratic progress. But that was only the beginning. When the then candidate Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo extended a call to me in California to return home, not just as a party executive, but as educationist, I accepted without hesitation. I left behind the comfort of California, where I had founded thriving STEM-focused high schools in Los Angeles specifically, and came home to help reshape Ghana's education system. I returned to serve. We are standing at a critical juncture in our national journey. Ghana needs leadership that is not only visionary, but also deeply grounded in evidence, compassion, and discipline. Leadership that understands that transforming a nation begins with transforming minds. I believe in a Ghana where every child, regardless of background, receives quality education. I believe in a Ghana where all youth has access to opportunity and meaningful work. I believe in a Ghana where every citizen, from farmer to entrepreneur, has a stake in our shared focus. A Ghana where we will wage war against poverty and win. I believe in a Ghana where we fully understand and appreciate that in this fourth industrial revolution, we'll do everything possible for our citizens to acquire the skill set that will lead to socioeconomic transformation. With humility, conviction, and a resolute heart, I, Dr. Yawase Edichum, declare my intent to run for the flag bearership of the new Patriotic Party when nominations are officially opened by the party, and eventually, with your support, become the President of Ghana. This declaration is above all a call to action to every Ghanaian who dares to believe that our country can be better, stronger, and more united. I'm offering myself as a servant leader with a mindset to transform our nation. This is a response to a lifelong call, a call to serve my party and my country with integrity, vision, and resolve. It's also a
any idea or ideas as a creative employment and Magana for your beer as a private person and you're the president to serve way some pro way and when you're being president how are and correct intimate and not Mawutai Ejnaha up to Mamutu say next time, which is 2028, I'm going to contest.
Various platforms that I'm against this approach of selecting a flag bearer when we haven't fixed the party. We need to fix the party. We need to fix the party to make the party attractive again, to be able to win a general election. That is why I said we need a very organized and disciplined party to elect a president, not a flag bearer. Because those declaring to be flag bearers and what have you, what are we standing on? What are we going to be standing on to win a general election? What some of my people forget is that what led to our abysmal performance was the lack of public trust in our party. And we need to build that public trust and confidence again. Because it cannot be that you go into an election and produce this result and all you are interested in is electing a flag bearer. No. Various platforms that I'm against this approach of selecting a flag bearer when we haven't fixed the party. We need to fix the party. We need to fix the party to make the party attractive again, to be able to win a general election. That is why I said we need a very organized and disciplined party to elect a president, not a flag bearer. Because those declaring to be flag bearers and what have you, what are we standing on? What are we going to be standing on to win a general election? What some of my people forget is that what led to our abysmal performance was the lack of public trust in our party. And we need to build that public trust and confidence again. Because it cannot be that you go into an election and produce this result and all you are interested in is electing a flag bearer. No. Various platforms that I'm against this approach of selecting a flag bearer when we haven't fixed the party. We need to fix the party. We need to fix the party to make the party attractive again, to be able to win a general election. That is why I said we need a very organized and disciplined party to elect a president, not a flag bearer. Because those declaring to be flag bearers and what have you, what are we standing on? What are we going to be standing on to win a general election? What some of my people forget is that what led to our abysmal performance was the lack of public trust in our party. And we need to build that public trust and confidence again.
Government is broke, government is broke. But people are spending billions to go inside the government that is broke. Have you ever seen a minister who resigned because government is broke before? Government has no money. Have you ever seen a governor who said, Ladies and gentlemen, when I was elected, I thought the government had money. Now I discover government has no money, I resign. Have you ever seen it? Government has no money, but they are bringing money out at election time. Where is that money coming from? So they are lying. What is happening is that there are two types of wicked people in government. Type 1, they eat current money. Any money they find in government, they will eat it. They are wicked about that one. There is type 2. Type 2, they eat current money and future money. They will say, my term will end next year. When I leave, how will I eat money? Let me borrow money now and borrow money of the future and eat it now.
Hello, good morning. Welcome to the show. This is Good Morning Ghana on Metro Television. Today is a Tuesday. It's a lovely Tuesday morning. My name is Aldo Moro, and thank God we're still alive and kicking, and we're back again to join the nation's conversation, what's happening in our dear country, Ghana. I'll kickstart, as always, with the front page stories of the newspapers that we have received this morning. And here I have the Daily Graphic. The Daily Graphic is reporting, it says, Flag bearer primary, NPP MPs must remain neutral. Minority leader Che Mensah-Bonsu, Arthur Kennedy share views. Goyle PLC posts 84.7 million cedis profit. Quash order to restore Ni Adamalache II. Ni Takichuru urges Supreme Court. Guarantee Trust Bank Ghana changes logo. And as GTech scrutinizes honorary doctorate titles. The Ghanaian Times. GJA elections June 30. Aspirants intensify campaign. President Mahama tasked Chinese coys to establish manufacturing plant in Ghana. Woman remanded over stealing 800,000 cedis mistakenly transferred to her account. The Daily Guide. 5 Nigerians arrested for car thefts in Kumasi NPP flag bearer race. Baumia Ken clash over leadership. Ifija Kwabre South MC's house set ablaze. U.S. Embassy warns Ghanaians over visa violations. The Insight. Julius Deborah, he says Ghana courting Chinese support to become West Africa's assembling hub. Why U.S. strikes on Iran will increase nuclear weapons proliferation. There's Westerners back Volta women's call for Speaker Bagwin to be immortalized. Government allocates 1 billion cedis to upgrade and resource security agencies. Iran launches missiles at U.S. airbase in Qatar and Iraq. The New Republic. Kevin Otri in $90 million oil Sakawa. And GTech boss in Apo hijacks college powers. And shields NPP principal from probe amidst financial scandal. Chief of Staff rolls out red carpet for investors as Ghana eyes Chinese billions. Shatawale ignites fast storm, threatens FBI exposure against Kwame Despite. There's bout over fugitive of Furiata. OSP Manasseh fights over Jampo's illicit call. And there's the Daily Searchlight. Brian Champon calls for unity in NPP. GJA journalists are now like sleeping dogs. Ahenu losing relevance in governance architecture. GJ Elections Committee assures members of transparent, credible electoral process. Delta named best U.S. airline for the 7th year. Springpark sets August 15 for 2025 national executive elections, announces electoral committee. And the Business and Financial Times. Speculation on cedi depreciation over July Eurobond payment far-fetched. Principles-based supervision needed to balance innovation, consumer protection, Dr. Etiahene. Partnership, Atlantic Catering joins UN Global Compact. ESS 2025 Summit opens today with focus on ending plastic waste. Stakeholders converge to deliberate a sustainable future. And the Fisheries Ministry backs local production of eco-friendly fishing nets as July-August closure of fishing season is announced. All right, so that's it for the front pages of the papers that we have this morning. Please stay with us. This is Good Morning Ghana.
Hello, my friends. My name is Kelkit Toothpaste.
Wow.
I was made to be gentle on your gum, but protected. I will protect your teeth from cavity, make your teeth whiter, stronger, keep your mouth fresh all day. And best of all, I'm strawberry flavored. So put on a smile and try me.
That's amazing.
Just try me. That's my job.
If you say so, jump on my brush. Makes your teeth stronger, chicky whiter, chicky stronger. Yay! You did it!
I'm glad you like your new toothpaste. Don't forget to brush both day and night.
Kelkits, happy smile.
Cratchit, unemu bua unkoisha Dr. Ban uye denwa.
Oh, Missy Yanfan come and me buru.
Mami buru. Ni atele be ko. Bra, mumi yanfan ko Dr. Ban ho. Dr. Ban o ya de. Bra, se ban no mpemu adwuma sasabro slow Dr. Ban o ye.
So ni kemi kwa na meka. Oh no mpemu nim di ono na ye expect nya zanfo no. O akra eni kumasi no mpemu expect yen kan kire.
I'm a brand manager. Of course, I accept only quality and affordable printed souvenirs for my promotional campaigns.
I'm the head of academic affairs of a very important institution in Ghana. Of course, we only deal with quality, reliable printing companies for our institution's printing materials. I'm talking about appointed time printing.
Appointed Time Printers. We take pride in our extensive print scope that transform your ideas into captivating visual masterpieces. We delve into the core objectives and vision of each print project. Precision printing is at the heart of our printing process as we meet your tight deadlines. Our rigorous inspection, color verification, and overall printing excellence are assured. 20 years of printing excellence. It's always a pleasure working with you to create a vibrant, dazzling printing experience that gives you a masterpiece. Appointed Time Printing, your world of quality and affordable printing.
Sometimes the unexpected happens and the hero falls down in his own story. But he needs not stay down for long. Cosmopolitan Health Insurance is your trusted health partner. Whether an individual building a business, with Cosmopolitan Health Insurance, your medical care is our concern. For the best health insurance solutions for corporate institutions, groups and associations, families and individuals, choose Cosmopolitan Health Insurance from our over 700 accredited health service providers nationwide. Call us on 0302 540 668 or 0501 678 547 for all your health insurance solutions. Cosmopolitan Health Insurance, your medical care is our concern.
Yes, next. Hey, Nadia Benson, Asamo.
Me didn't tum. Mr. Femi Calico, just call me cockroach.
Now, Mr. Femi once now.
Hey, that's you. Impruka. Yeah. Captain Mosquito, double the action. Me did it, Sasso spray. Mr. Femi Sasso quell. Yeah, go to my Sasso. Come tum preko.
Buy affordable service plots and lands from estate masters. Currently selling our next cottage, located at the newly proposed Airport City, with a starting price of 25,000 Ghana cedis. We also have Palm Hills, located at Panfukuro in the Gomwa East District, also with a starting price of 15,000 Ghana cedis. Available also is Coastal Park in Lakleku, which is a 15-minute drive from the Ningo Senior High School, having a starting price of 55,000 Ghana cedis. You will receive a free site plan with indenture once you successfully purchase a land from us. For any enquiries, contact the numbers provided. Estate Masters, your most preferred estate partner.
Smart, smooth, interactive, and a built-in Android active panel made for modern work and home. For corporate clients and university students, enjoy top quality 10th generation Toshiba laptops built for performance, power, clarity, and speed, all in one desktop. At Mycom JA Computers, get a laptop for as low as 1,000 Ghana cedis. All products are imported from the USA with a 1-year warranty. Visit Mycom JA Computers today and elevate your tech.
Welcome to Rehoboth Palm Ayimensa Gated Community. Nestled between the vibrant city of Accra and the breathtaking Ebri Mountains lies a serene gated community. Here, you'll find litigation-free, fully serviced demarcated plots to build your dream house in a gated community surrounded by lush greenery and the calming beauty of nature. Perfect canvas for your dream home you want to build. With well-tarred roads, a reliable drainage system, electricity and water, fully serviced plots are ready for your vision. Enjoy exclusive amenities like a swimming pool, tennis and basketball courts, all within the comfort of your community. Start your mornings with peaceful walks or energizing jogs under the shade of palm trees and stunning views of the Peduase Ebri Mountains and city skyline. Starting from 450,000 Ghana cedis and a flexible payment plan, visit www.rehobothpropertiesgh.com to make inquiries. Call or WhatsApp us on 020-682-3524, 055-375-1933, or 024-476-4499. Rehoboth Properties, quality housing for all.
Okay, well, sorry about that. Checking one or two things. But anyway, you're live on Good Morning Ghana on Metro Television. My name is Aldo Moro. Joining me this morning for us to kickstart our conversation, which hopefully would be a very productive one and a very great one, is the man who is a professor, an associate professor, Kingsley Nyako, who is the MP for Kwada. So he's here with us this morning. Good morning, sir. Thank you very much for joining us. I'm doing very well. It's always a pleasure to host you.
Yeah, thank you, my
brother. You're a fantastic man, and our viewers love you.
Yeah, thanks.
When you are here, they're happy.
You look good.
Oh, thank you.
Let me thank
I was told you were coming here, so I had to look my best. Yes.
Let me thank the viewers for this positive compliments.
Okay.
I'm grateful.
So it's an associate professor?
Yes, yeah.
An associate professor in what exactly?
Psychology.
Oh, psychology.
Yeah, that's my area. So I'm mainly into psychology and education, these two areas.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
psychology and education.
I got my PhD in 2000, 2008. I did my defense on 31st January 2008 at the University of Munich.
Okay.
And I was employed by the University of Ghana in 2008. Okay. I started on 7 July 2010 at the University of Ghana. And I rose to the rank. So in 2012 or so, I applied to the rank of senior lecturer, and I got it. Then 2016, I applied to the rank of associate professor. And in 2015 academic year, I was privileged to have one of the best researchers for the School of Social Sciences. So then I applied, saw some issues, and I reapplied. So in 2018 that I was promoted to associate professor. At that time, I led the University of Ghana. So because of some back and forth, the council, the University of Ghana Council, gave me that honor in 2022, I remember in December, but it was backdated to 2018. You know what I mean? So technically, I got to that position in 2018.
Okay.
Yeah. So, I mean, so that's it. When I went to the University of Ghana, I gave myself 10 years to be either associate professor or full professor. That was my goal.
Okay.
So I started working so hard at it. And I had a mentor there, Professor Matekole, who encouraged me a lot. So I was very active when I was at the University of Ghana.
Okay.
So we worked so hard. I couldn't get to the ultimate full professor, but even though that was the goal, I had two fold goals. 10 years' time, I should be at the professor level, either full or ASO. So I'm happy I got the ASO. Probably if I should go back again before my retirement, then I can still pursue that. Otherwise, I'm happy at where God has brought me.
So is it late to pursue that ambition of becoming a full professor?
Since I'm out of the university environment,
okay.
Professorial titles are awarded by the universities when you are teaching.
Right.
You cannot get it outside. So when I hear some individuals call themselves professors because an institution and a university has conferred on them without teaching, it is not done anywhere. I don't know the obsession for titles in this country. It's not done nowhere. You have to teach. So, three criteria. The university level is publication, is teaching, community engagement. These are the criteria that is used to determine your progression within the university rank.
Right.
Yeah. But normally they put more premium on publications. Okay. Then teaching and community engagement. Yeah.
Okay.
So to be in that environment before you can get it. And when you go on retirement, if you acquitted yourself so excellently, then the university can confer on you the status of emerita if you were a female teacher at the university, and emeritus if you were a male teacher at the university. So that's how it is. So lecturer, senior lecturer, associate professor, professor. When you are in active service, when you are done, then you can be emeritus or emerita.
But let me ask you this. I'm wondering, I'll need some education on this. First of all, why have you stopped teaching? Is it because you are now an MP? And if you're now an MP, what does the standing order say with regards to persons like you? I mean, can you combine teaching with your work as an MP?
There's a committee in Parliament.
Yes.
Committee on Profit.
Yes, Committee on Profit, yes.
So I can apply, and that committee is chaired by Second Deputy Speaker of Parliament. I can apply to the committee. The committee can give me the opportunity to go and teach.
And
So
it must be an express permission.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. So if you engage in any activity or profit, it's against our standing orders.
Yeah.
Okay, that's an offense. It's an offense to do that. But if you want to teach or engage in other profession, if you're a lawyer and you still want to practice, you're a business person and you still want to do the business, anything that brings you some emolument, some profit, you should apply to the committee on profits. And you'll be given the opportunity to go and do it. I can apply to do that, but because of some reasons, that is why I've not done it now. But at the point, I should be able to do that. Yeah, at the point, I should be able to maybe engage.
Because I'm sure that you miss it.
Of course, I mean,
you miss your students.
Yeah, I mean, it is lovely. The idea is to build the human resource base of the country. It pains my heart when you see huge exodus of our youth to the advanced countries. Those countries were built by the indigents. One reason why I decided to come to Ghana, when I finished studying in Germany, I had a job that I was doing with Voice Cash, a financial solution company. Then I had the opportunity to be in Canada. I was telling myself that, I mean, these beautiful countries were built by the people themselves. We need to also do the same. Why don't I come back, you take up teaching, you build the youth, you know what I mean? Attitudinal change, believe in themselves, believe in the country. And some of the students that are taught at the University of Ghana, some of them are even professors, right? I mean, some are doctors, okay? And I'm proud that I've been part of their progression on the academic ladder. The more we get human resource of competence who love their country, okay, Ghana at the point will get to where we are aspiring to be. You know, this country is changing. You must see it as changing on a very slow note, but for me, I see some progress. Moro, those years, I mean, in the late 80s and early 90s, you know what I mean? Ghana at that time is sharply different from Ghana today. Now you go into an election where you see a political party to have dominance.
Okay.
That party loses within that constituency. I mean, it tells me that, I mean, things are changing,
right.
Okay? And I think it's better for our democracy, it's better for our country. Ghana at the point will be where we want it to be. All of us must put our shoulders to the wheel. We must love our country a bit more, okay? We must appreciate our country a bit more and have the understanding that our contributions today may bear fruit in future. We might not live to enjoy the immediate dividends. But when we are even dead and gone, posterity will enjoy our labor of love and I mean our toils. That should be our attitude. You can amass all the wealth in this life. The day you die, you leave everything behind. But the question is, what was your contribution to your people?
Right.
You know what I mean? That makes education something profound that we need to, devote more energy into it. Come to Parliament, at least. There are some students that are taught who are there. Edem Abena of the NDC. I mean, I taught me the University of Ghana.
Edem is a student?
Yeah, he did psychology, and Dami Kwabenya, the lady,
Akurugu.
Yeah, I didn't even. So she came to me and said that, oh, sir, you taught me Lego, you know what I mean? So when you see your students at that level with you, I think you should be proud of yourself, isn't it?
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
obviously.
So, yeah. So at the point, who knows? You can still contribute our quota to this country within the four walls of our economic environment.
Yeah.
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 Yes,
That's
yeah.
Faustina Elikpli Makurugu.
Yeah.
So Faustina is a student.
Yeah. I mean,
was your student?
I didn't. Yeah. So she came to me in the chamber, and said that.
And introduce yourself.
Oh, sir, you taught me. And I said, wow. Because you know, psychology is one of the disciplines with a lot of students.
Yeah.
You can teach a class of about 1,600 students, you know what I mean? So you wouldn't know all of them, but you know those who maybe are active in class, those that you supervise their thesis and dissertation, and those who come to you, okay? But as for Adam, you know, I knew him, you know, because of one or two things, you know what I mean? You know him, yeah.
Right.
Yeah, so I'm not surprised that he's gotten to where he is, you know. Yeah.
I see. You know, but back in, you know, at our days at University of Ghana, Legon, our friends were always complaining about psychostats.
Hey!
They were always complaining about psychostats.
Two courses.
Yes.
Psychostats and biological foundations.
Yes. They were always complaining.
Psychostats is a level 10 course, and biological foundations is a level 200 course.
Right.
You know what I mean? And these are all core courses. So you cannot escape.
You don't have any option.
You cannot escape.
You have to
I tell you. So students have issues. So if you even get a C, a C in psychostats and biological foundations, then it means that you did well.
Yeah. But as an associate professor in psychology and in education, I'm wondering what the nexus is. What's the relationship between education and psychology?
Okay, so, you know, psychology is a broad discipline.
Yeah.
With sub-disciplines. So if you take psychology, you have those who specialize in clinical psychology, those in industrial and organizational psychology,
right,
those in neuropsychology, social psychology, educational psychology. So it's because it's just applying psychological principles, okay, in certain spheres of life. So neuropsychologists deal with, I mean, neurons, human beings, you know what I mean, your nerves and all that, the psychology behind that, okay. And those clinical psychologists also devote themselves, you know what I mean, some clinical issues, health-related issues and all that.
Does psychiatry come under clinical psychology?
Yes.
Psychiatry?
Yes.
Comes under clinical
because
psychology?
yes, so they also, so one core course at the University of Ghana or in psychology programs is abnormal psychology. You know what I mean? So all these things are studied there.
Right.
So if you take educational psychology, you are just applying psychological principles in the area of education. That's it. That's what it means. If you are talking about IO psychology, you're applying psychological principles in industry, in organizations, and all that. Okay, so that's how it is, right?
And would you say that your knowledge or your deep knowledge in psychology has, to a very large extent, impacted on how you teach education as well?
Yeah. I mean, So in education and in general sphere of life, I try to apply the principles to help me adapt well in any environment that I find myself in.
Okay.
When it comes to adversity, how do I use the psychological resource to help me cope and manage? Okay. How should I use it in dealing with, relationships and all that? So, psychology is a very important,
broad,
important discipline. And when you go to school and you are taught, you should be able to use those theories and the principles to guide your life. And otherwise, you obtain no knowledge. Knowledge that cannot be applied in real life situations is dead knowledge. Okay, so yeah, in this country, for example, when people are invited to events, when the time is 8 a.m., they'll show up at 10 or 12. This is a bad attitude, bad habit, and this has to change. You hardly see me attending events late. Go to Parliament. When I go to Parliament, I'll make sure that I'm there on time. So if you don't do that, you are missing a lot. Productivity is going to go down. When you are in a hurry to do something, you can make mistakes. You are going to an event, you are late, you might overspeed, and it can end your life. or you can have some unforeseen negative occurrences on you as an individual. Okay, so all these principles that help us to change our behaviors, we need to ensure that we implement them and enforce them. I'm talking about consequences of one's actions, okay? Yeah, you go to work late, nothing happens to you, you always go late. But if you go to work late and there is a severe consequences on your lateness, next time you'll be very careful, because you know that when you go late, either your salary or your day wage is reduced or you are punished. But in this country, nobody cares. 10 a.m. they come at 12, nothing happens to them. And if this continues, can there be productivity in the country? Can there be meaningful transformation in the country? It cannot. Okay, so we should be bold. I mean, before I end this, you ask all those that I taught at the University of Ghana. I taught there for 8 years. I won't even miss a class. And I'll make sure that I come to class on time. If you come late, I won't let you enter the class. I give 10 minutes respite. You stay outside. You won't come. And at the beginning, the students didn't like me. Somebody told me that every morning when they stand for my lecture, they'll be insulting me. But 2 years later, some students came to my class, came to my office, and they encouraged me that intervention of mine was helping them. So I continued. I didn't stop. So the students who at the beginning didn't like it, later realized that it was something good and positive. And this follows me anywhere I go. These are the intentional interventions we need to put in our workplaces, in our homes, to ensure that this country is functional. You go to UK, you go to the US of A, Germany, you go to where you don't go late. Because you know the consequences. But here, nobody cares. You know what I mean? It's not troubling. So we should be able to exhibit more patriotism. You love your country, you love your job. And I think that we should be fine.
So here you're talking about mindsets which have to change.
Yeah,
and if you have to change...
My good friend Stignama and Stika will say mind revolution or mental revolution. And I think that it shouldn't be just by words. It should be actionable.
Actionable.
Yeah.
I get the point. But I think from everything you've said, I get the sense that at the very... I mean, basically, anybody who ventures into the teaching profession must get some knowledge in psychology.
Yeah,
because it helps you to be more effective.
Not only teaching.
Because I'm using teaching because you see, I think teaching is at the root of almost all our problems.
Yeah,
see, if we get the teaching right,
cutting edge,
so you're talking about mindsets change and so on and so forth. Once we get the teaching right, because you must start from the basics. If we catch them young at the formative level, once they go through that, a transformation, mindset transformation, it would reflect one.
That is why in our educational structure, we need to devote more resources, more investment
at the
preschool level.
Unfortunately, we're doing the opposite.
At the preschool level.
Preschool
level. That is where the foundation is needed.
I know.
Because if you're able to give them the needed skills and attitude, then they'll grow with them.
Yeah.
I was privileged to be a teacher at the basic level.
Yeah.
So my 18 junior high school, I went there was only one teacher, put teacher.
Can you imagine?
One teacher, pupil teacher, teacher Simon, wherever you are, I greet you. So I joined him, and I became the acting headmaster there.
Yeah.
And I realized that even at junior high school 3, the learners couldn't speak English. They couldn't write English. Because at that time, they didn't have access to enjoy preschooling.
Yeah.
And if you don't enjoy preschooling, you start school at grade 1, the age of 6 years, you don't have the foundation. How can you survive?
Yeah.
So those in urban areas who have the opportunity to attend preschool, by the time they get to class 1, the basics are acquired by them, and learning becomes meaningful. But if you're struggling at class 1, when learning is meaningless to you, you cannot read, you cannot write. How can you build on? It's difficult. Okay, so we need to strengthen preschool. Okay, if you're able to do that, more resources there at the basic level, lower primary, upper primary, then building on it into the junior, the secondary level, that is the junior and secondary,
right,
becomes a bit easy, and you will spend less resources there.
All right. Also joining us for this morning's conversation, it's the MP for the people of Sa'anarogo. Yes, he's the man, Ataisa. He's a chartered accountant, and he's a very hard-working MP for the people there. They like him. Good morning, sir. Thanks for joining us.
Good morning, and thank
How are
you.
you?
Oh, we are doing well. Small.
You look good in your suit, though.
Prof.
This is actually the first time I've seen him wearing suit.
Oh, I wear.
No, I mean, to me.
It fits you. It fits you.
Oh, okay. Thank you. Okay, so let me say good morning to Prof. I was just listening to him and learning more.
Yeah.
At least, in fact, I don't understand sometimes when our leaders, we travel outside the country and we see how things are done elsewhere. And the difficulty in us changing the mindset of our people towards patriotism and development of our nation. So I associate myself entirely with the submissions made by our humble prof here, and to say that we must as a country seek our development as a collective, irrespective of the field that you find yourself.
Yeah.
It is just attitudinal change that is not happening. That's why we still have Galamsey. Recently I was in Paris and we had a meeting with the United Nations Environment Program.
Okay.
And what they showed us was that people don't even know in Africa that is bush burning also accounting to climate change.
Yeah.
And even human activities, illegal mining and all those. People don't know the end effect. Like, they haven't felt it. People, yes, they can say Galamsey will cause this, but the person hasn't seen the end effect. So the causal effects relationship, people are not used to it. So I think that if, as a country, we orient ourselves to know that Ghana first, irrespective of where you are, you must always place the interests of the nation above that of your personal and short-term gains that you will make. So on that note, that's what I will also say about it.
Okay. All right, so let's get to what we call get to brass tacks. I was about to raise the issues about with GTech, which sort of aligns with what we just discussed earlier, but I think we'll skip that and look and go straight to Tema Refinery.
Yeah.
Especially in these times, we know what's happening in the Middle East. Of course, there's been a bit of a ceasefire, but we don't know what's going to happen tomorrow. And we also know that the price of crude oil at international markets has surged. I think it's now about $85 dollars per barrel. If you look at our 2025 budget, we actually pegged it at, we benchmarked it, I think, at 75 or so for the 2025 budget. So, of course, when the prices go up, government is happy. It's happy on one side, but it's also, unhappy on the other side, which is government rakes in more revenue, but then we get to pay more.
Yeah.
Now, yesterday, the Tema Refinery management was before the Energy Committee to give them a state of...
Wednesday, Sunday.
It was on Sunday, right? It was on Sunday, yes, to give them the state of... to apprise of the state of the refinery. And we know what's the problems Tema Refinery has been through for a very long time. In fact, the last time we refined crude oil was in March 2021 or so.
Yeah.
And what we've done in the last few years is that we've always had an IMC, Interim Management Committee, to oversee its affairs until I think the NDC came to power, and now have a permanent, so an MD. Of course, even though in an acting capacity. Now the story here in today's daily guide says Todd targets October 2025 for restart. And the story is by Ernest Kofi-Addo, and it says, Acting Manager Director of the Tema Refinery, TOR, Edmond Combat, has announced that the refinery is aiming to resume operations by October 2025. Mr. Combat made this known when officials of TOR appeared before the Parliamentary Committee on Energy to provide updates on the refinery's mandate and its work plan for the 2025 and ongoing operational challenges. In his presentation, the acting MD revealed that TOR is progressing with the upgrade of its gantry and terminal facilities, noting that management is committed to completing all ongoing projects initiated by the previous administration. According to him, the refinery also plans to address the significant debt burden, pursue financial restructuring, and invest in the retooling of its laboratory to enhance operational efficiency. Mr. Combat seized the opportunity to appeal to the committee for assistance in resolving some of the pressing challenges facing the refinery. These, he mentioned, include the restructuring of TOR debts with the ESTLA receivables, converting government debts into equity, reinstating TOR's share of the ESTLA levy, allowing TOR to participate in the primary distribution margin, and also securing representation on the Lacan Committee. Now, chairman of the committee and member of Parliament for Whole West, Emmanuel Kwesi Bajra, who presided over the meeting, emphasized that the engagement was part of the committee's oversight responsibilities over agencies and the Ministry of Energy and Green Transition. And that's it. But there's another aspect of the story which was not captured by the Daily Guide, where it talks about TOR's indebtedness, which is now ballooned to about 517 million US dollars. Now, for me, the question is this: that we've been paying TOR debt recovery levy from 2003. So I am struggling to reconcile a situation we've been paying this levy, and yet the debts keep going up. And I've been looking for answers to this. I don't know whether Atais, have you been able to find those answers?
Not really.
Because it's difficult to understand, isn't it?
Yes, because like you indicated, this idea of making TOR to operate in full capacity, the argument started way back from 2003 or 4. So at that time, the objective was to make sure that we purge TOR off the crisis that they were facing as a result of ballooning debt. So the levy, when it came first, was to address those fiscal liquidity challenges in that sector. So fast forward in 2025, we are still talking about Tema Oil Refinery debt. Now, if you look at the source of the debt, in fact, that was even the debt as at the end of 2024, 517 million US dollars. Part of those things has to do with suppliers' credit, because the idea of refinery simply means that you must have the crude first before you can refine. So TOR was unable to pay some of its creditors for the supply of crude that they give to TOR. Then operational losses. Moro, it will interest you to know that I have visited TOR. They have obsolete machines. We must admit that. And in fact, sometimes this even reduces the morale of staff, because you go to the office, basic machines to do, TOR doesn't have, or is obsolete. So in fact, the staff told me that what are they paying them for? And for me, I am surprised, because when TOR was set up, the idea was to place it as a strategic asset to the country. Currently, as we speak, Ghana is positioned strategically that we can make TOR the refining hub for West Africa. Why? Because of the insurgence of military takeovers by our neighbors. Many countries have cut them off the global chain. So Ghana has now become the center. So if you go Burkina and other countries, they all clear their containers from the Ghana ports. What it means is that TOR, if it is well functioning, simply means that we can be able to even source revenue from the export of refined oil. We did it with electricity. I remember Akusumbo and other power sources were able to sell power to neighboring countries. So how come several investments and even tax or levies have been imposed to make sure that TOR works to its capacity? But Combat, I know him very well. He was my SRC president in Lagos.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
You were both on campus at the same time.
Okay. So, and one thing that you cannot take away from him is commitment to duty. He was an ex-assistant president. And so for me, I don't have any doubt that he will perform. Suffice to say that because of policy incoherence and inconsistency by successive government, we haven't done one agenda towards recovering of our national asset like TOR. President Kufuor had a different approach to how to deal with the issues of TOR. President Atamils had a different approach. President Mahama had different approach, and then President Akufo-Addo. So because of that lack of consistency in policy, that this is how we want to make sure TOR operational, that is why we are always here. You get the point? Yeah. And look, I was telling somebody that competition is also killing TOR. Why am I saying that? If you look at energy distribution to consumers, it's only ECG that does it. So there's no threat. But TOR, you have BDCs that import. Exactly. So NETCO and TOR, they are the people controlling the end user distribution. So the issue is that if you know BDCs that import.
You mean NETCO and ECG?
Yes. If you know BDCs that import crude or refined at a cheaper rate to the consumer, and TOR, when TOR is producing, even at 45,000 barrels a day, the cost of producing in TOR is higher than the refined oil imported by the BDCs.
You mean it is cheaper,
to import fuel
into this country than bringing the raw product and giving it to TOR to refine? But that doesn't make sense.
It doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense.
What is it that is accounting for the high cost of refining?
It is just
crude?
because of operational inefficiency. Okay. The last time we discussed ECG, I told you that the problem of ECG is not funding. Right. It's just inefficiencies.
Right.
Because they have admitted time without number that they lose about 30 to 42% during distribution. Gridco will also tell you they also lose some transferring to ECG. VRO2 will say they also lose some transferring to Gridco. So who pays for the inefficiencies? It's a consumer. So, but if you are a BDC, there's no space for inefficiency. You import the crude from abroad, it gets to you through you go and get Lacan at NPA, have your storage tanks either with BOSS or with your private BDCs, then lodge your fuel there. At that time, it is ready for the market. But TOR, when they give them money, they, with the obsolete machines that they are using, when they are producing, a lot of the produce is waste. So yet you must pay your creditors. How do you pay? You have to convert the inefficiencies into cost for the consumer.
But I don't. When you say a lot of the things that are produced, you know, after the main product, which is fuel,
yes,
is refined, goes to waste. I don't understand, because there are byproducts like kerosene, you know, bitumen, and then that's not what you're talking about. Okay. So
when they say operational inefficiencies, it means that in the process of the production, you are unable to achieve the maximum benefit the country can get as compared to what other competitors can do.
Okay.
It's just like a business like Vodafone, MTN, all those things. They are competitors. Some do things because of economies of scale at lower rates than others. So I'm just saying that people feel that it is cheaper to import refined fossil fuel than that of our national refinery. So government regulatory policies to make sure that we increase the production capacity of TOR so that BDCs can even pick it from TOR onto the market.
Right.
That is the only way we can be nationalistic in mind about this whole idea. Look, we must inject private capital also into TOR. I am not one of the people that believe that everything must be done by government. I am not one of them. Because we have examples of government institutions that are doing well, of course. However, we also have a lot of government institutions and state enterprises that are not doing well. 32 billion debt at Cocoa Board. It doesn't make sense. We have ECG, 68 billion. In fact, the receivables on ECG alone for this year is $42 billion Ghana cedis receivables. What they are expected to collect from people, they can collect. So that inefficiencies does not exist in the private sector. So if TOR, the idea is you make operational losses at the time of production, we must inject the private capital there to make sure that we produce efficiently. If it is also at the time of export prices to the fuel stations, we must inject private capital there to make sure we've actually...
By injecting private capital, you're asking that we divest it.
Exactly.
But this matter has come. I mean, it's been on this card has been on the table for a very long time.
I agree.
We've debated it every time. In fact, every time it comes up, CSOs kick against it because they say the strategic importance of TOR would make nonsense of it for us too, because it would increase the operational cost, and if you increase the operational cost, it defeats the very purpose for which TOR exists.
But the good news is that Ghana is gradually moving towards green transition.
Yes.
So even the over-reliance on the whole idea of fossil fuel will come down.
Right.
That's number one.
Right.
Number two,
but that's in the medium to long term.
Yes, that's what I'm saying. Number two,
yes,
we have existing best practices in Africa and beyond.
Right.
How is Dangote doing his refinery in Nigeria? So when people tell me that it is difficult or it increased cost of production, like I earlier said, it is as a result of private operational inefficiency. And we know from time immemorial that private participation in any government sector always yields positive returns. So I'm not saying we must privatize the idea of TOR. I'm saying that even doing it in the form of PPP is not bad for me. And in the domestic debt exchange program, the 570 million, I wanted to just give the distinction. It does not necessarily mean that operational losses and cost to TOR is about $570 million. The DDEP2 accounted for this increase because all government subventions to TOR or government money to TOR for operational purposes, the IMF insisted that we must convert all government allocations to TOR as part of the debt of TOR.
Right.
Because the idea was to make sure that we win off all state enterprises' debt from the central government so that those SOEs will take it on their own balance sheet and find ways of resolving those debt issues. So if you go to ECG, that's why we were able to report 32 billion in cocoa sector, that's cocoa board. We reported 68 billion at ECG. The reason was that the IMF insisted that all those state enterprises must absorb all government grants as a liability on their books, so that now TOR is expected to look for $570 million to pay back to government and other creditors who have supplied crude oil.
And the question is, where are they going to raise that capital?
Exactly, because if you look at even TOR cash flow, it's nothing to write home about. In fact, there was this conversation in 2023 about setting up a refinery, a private refinery in Takoradi or something like that. Because that time, TOR had existed for 2 consecutive years without even producing one. So if you look at their cash flow position, it is not healthy to even secure foreign funding. That is why government always serves as guarantor to make sure that because of credibility of government and other benefits, investors will be happy to make sure that they resolve the issues of TOR. But the issue we always ask, at what cost to the citizen? So I am happy particularly because Edmond Combat had worked there before under Ewa Dako. So this is not somebody who is novice in the area. He is somebody who understands the job. In fact, when he was made the deputy, I was like, what? I wanted him to be the main one because I know what he can do. And finally, when we saw that he was reassigned to the position of MD. So this is not something that we, as a country, we should pride ourselves with. The ancestors or our predecessors that invested people's resources to establish this. In fact, the time they were establishing TOR, if somebody had told you that there is a revolutionary industrial revolution that will come later years, Dr. Kwame Nkrumah never saw the full benefit of TOR. So wherever he is, he will not be pleased with some of these performances we are getting. Especially recently, the performance of most state-owned enterprises have not been inspiring. And it is high time that we make sure we hold people accountable for those inefficiencies. It doesn't make sense that you have operational costs as part of your overhead costs. Operational inefficiencies have been captured. Over the weekend, we met a lot of SOEs at Alisa Hotel. Some of them will tell us that the losses that they declare, a lot of instances is negligence and inefficiency, and they report it in our books. Those are the critical things that President Mahama must tackle in all successive governments, because we don't have that laxity to toy with people. People are losing public trust in politicians because people don't understand why we have gold, we have oil, and yet we are poor. And that's the one good thing that I wanted people to know about the establishment of the gold board. Because Ghana's participatory interest there of 10% and royalties of 5% does not make sense. So for me, I hope and I wish Edmond Combat well. I know he will deliver. He has given us October date to see Tor return to producing refined oil. And I'll be happy if we get to that stage. We'll all be rejoicing, because even the drivers of the exchange instability was because of BDCs. Because Bank of Ghana, the bulk of the forex market is controlled by BDCs, because they import a lot of crude. So if we can make Tor produce at a competitive price like the way it is done abroad, it means that BDCs do no longer need to rely on the dollar or the pounds or something to import. All we need to do is that go with your CD and get it from Tor, and then the price of oil will come down. Prof has just made a very critical issue. That is why I am happy about this discussion, because as we speak right now, there is a war. And I know that politics will not stop, because somebody too will say that there was war in Ukraine and Russia. However, this type of war there, it is also important for us to know that Iran at the OPEC level is a very critical stakeholder. And any issue that has to do with Iran in terms of oil and the Middle East in general
affects the entire world.
Exactly. So I'm sure it is part of the reason why we withdrew the energy levy of one Ghana city, because the idea was that the windfall that we were getting from 14 to about 11, that windfall, we wanted to take one city out of it. But because of these externalities, if you go ahead with that plan, what it means is that when the thing goes up to, what do you do? So because of that, we have to monitor the trends to see how the projections will go. And the finance minister will be coming in August to update the budget, because you know that we've benchmarked a lot of the revenue measures at the prevailing market price.
Not July. I thought it was July.
August, I'm told. But if it is July, that's fine too.
That's the media budget.
Yes. Because like a lot of the benchmark prices have changed. So we need to deal with them and make sure that the national economy is also thrown out. You get it? We had just come, we benefited a lot of things. You can see S&P ratings and then other Fitch and all those people.
As we speak, government is raking in $10 more.
Exactly.
In addition to what they had.
Exactly.
They had benchmarked.
So, yes. So we need to revise the whole thing and also incorporate the demands of the striking.
Because the thing is, budgets are made based on certain assumptions.
Exactly. So if those assumptions are no longer hold, economy will hold, ceteris paribus, all other things being equal, so that
ceteris paribus.
Yes.
Anyway, so I've been looking at Prof. Before you come in, I've been looking at the reasons that the management of Tor has been giving as to why we've racked up this debt. You know, and you say it says that in an engagement with the Parliamentary Select Committee on Energy at Senchi. So you're absolutely right about the Sunday meeting. Mr. Komba said the debt was triggered by trade debts, third parties, and also legacy debts where crude was supplied but it was not paid.
Not paid for.
Right? Now, there were times that the Ministry of Finance in the past had given some funds, and I'm quoting Combat himself based on what this particular online portal has written, is that there were times that the Ministry of Finance in the past had given some funds to Tor. And some of it, for example, was grants, and then when they entered into an agreement with IMF, the IMF asked them to reclassify it as debt. You made mention of that, that let it sit on your books.
Yes.
Don't add it to public debt. And it says, so those things have accumulated to that amount of money. And I think that the last time Tor traded, some of the trades were not hedged. Okay, so once it goes up, you're affected. It comes down, you're affected. Whereas if you had hedged, there's some level of consistency. Now, it says that Mr. Combat and officials of TOR had appeared before the 17-member committee chaired by Emmanuel Bejira to brief them on the program and work plan of TOR this year, as well as the challenges it faces. I'm one of those who really would want to have a look at the work plan. I want to know how we do not get back into this situation we find ourselves in. What really is the plan? What's the strategy? Perhaps Combat is your friend, eh?
Yes, we can easily get the work plan.
Yeah, we'll get in touch with him.
Once they met the parliamentaries,
he used to be a friend, but now he's not. I don't know. These days, well, I'll look for him. I'll look for him and try to get a work plan. We need to get it. Ghanaians need to share in that work plan so we can all monitor and track how things are going.
So that we don't get back here again.
So let me just finish with this. And it says that. It says Mr. Combat said there was a lot of exposure, which led to the current debt of TOR ballooning. But we're here to make sure that that is stopped. You know what I said earlier? That is stopped and it is not repeated again. And he told the committee that President John Dramani Mohammed's agenda had been to revive the economy. He said one of the things that the president had been talking about was to revamp the TOR. He said since 2019, the residue fluid catalytic cracking, this thing, we've heard it's always been idle, had not been operated. And since 2021, or had not operated since 2021, the crude distillation unit had also not run. As a new management of TOR, he said the first thing that they did was to assess the plant to determine its readiness and the possibility of bringing it back. After assessing the plant, we realized that the plant was in good shape and that with a few technical works, we could get the plant back, and that is what we have been seriously working on. He pointed out that the refinery plant had been out of shape as a result of debt that had accumulated over the years. We had tried to revalidate, some of the debt, do renegotiation and reconciliation. As a result, we have worked on it and some of the numbers are coming down, and at the appropriate time, we will ensure that the figures are out. And it says, with the refinery not audited its financial accounts for the past 6 years, since 2019, TOR had not had an audited account. And one of the things that we decided to do was to focus on that and bring external auditors. How? But this country, you're running such a strategic institution like TOR. You're not even auditing TOR's account.
In fact, they don't even go to PPA for approval for their procurement. That's the truth.
You know this too for a fact?
Yes, for a fact.
Hey, Charlie.
Everybody in Ghana says TOR is not working.
To tell the authorities of the refinery around, the set steps had been taken to change management by reorienting the staff to refocus them on performances, to retool them, and blah blah blah. It's a very long, story. But somebody has sent me a message, and this person said he's been following what's been happening at TOR. And so he says, Moro, do you know that they said government has been collecting the TOR debt, but not giving it to TOR for the longest time? That's what's been happening. So that the TOR debt recovery levy, we collect it from everybody, but we don't give it to TOR. We use it for something else, right? Now, it says this year too, all the levies collected has not been given to TOR. And it says the refinery has not audited its accounts for the past 6 years. It is not true that it is cheaper to import finished products than refine it, what you said earlier.
Yes.
And it said the BDCs, as we speak, owe a lot to their international credit. I think the person was an international creditors or international credit. I'm sure it's creditors. But so this person is the person placed in this space, the oil and gas space, and it says that look, it is not true. It is more expensive to refine crude oil here than to import the finished product.
It is.
Really?
I saw I don't want to go too much into it, but I saw the cash flow presentation that was made. And then with our African average, and we know how much it costs to produce 1 barrel of crude oil into refined oil in Africa. We know the average in dollars, and Ghana was almost even number 8 highest. We're part of the 8 countries with the highest production rate. And then when you look at the African average as compared to that of Europe and Asia and other continents, in fact, Africa 1 is higher than all of them. So it is better. And you know what? Maybe they don't. He didn't avert his mind to is that the Bank of Ghana provides a hedge spot rate for the BDCs to import and bring.
Yes.
So all these taxes components that we always talk about, once we have a stable exchange rate, if it comes, whether you produce locally or not, those tax and levies are all imposed on refined oil.
Right.
But the truth of the matter is that the cost of production, the cost
is so expensive.
It's expensive. He should know that economics of scale will always tell you that when you are efficient and your organization is that large, production cost comes down. As we speak, who pays for the inefficiencies during production? Who pays for that? The truth of the matter is that TOR is not being audited or doesn't have an audit account because operational capacity is zero. They don't produce anything. So what do they want them to? But the problem I also have is that budget has always been extended to them. So what's the use of the budget? I was fortunate to be part of a discussion at the Finance Committee where we requested for audited financial accounts. Even for 2023, they told us that it wasn't ready. They haven't been audited. So for me, this is also part of the reforms that I want to see, to make sure that we increase transparency and accountability at that level so that Ghanaians will see the real effect of their expenditure and make sure that monies are not just thrown into companies that do not bring results for us.
Okay. All right. So Kofi Kapito has been monitoring the program and he has he's expressed some very interesting thoughts. Let me read that to you. He says that, good morning, Moro. My issue, you know Kofi Kapito, Consumer Protection Agency. He says that my issue is we started paying toll recovery debt and it's now called legacy debt. Legacy debt. What I want to know is, how much is the total amount? Now, Kofi, so Edmond Combat, right? That's his full name, isn't it? Edmond Combat, who's the acting MD for TOR, tells us it's $517 million US, but it's still being audited.
Yes.
Yes, it's been audited. So the figures could either go up or come down. Okay. So you would have to wait for us to get the figures. But it says that how much of it have we paid so far? We haven't paid anything. And how long is it going to take us to finish paying? That I want to know. We all want to know how long is it going to take us for us to finish paying. So that's it. So, Prof, what do you think?
Moro, so let me greet our viewers and my constituents from Kwadaso. So the petroleum agencies under the Ministry of Energy and Green Transition met on Saturday and Sunday at the Kosombo. I was there.
Oh, you were there? Oh, okay.
I'm on the Energy Committee.
Oh, you are part of the Energy Committee?
Yeah. So
isn't it interesting? The man is here.
Yeah. So when after in the morning of of Sunday, we met with Petroleum Hub Development Corporation, the embossed, then TOR.
Was it Dr. Tony Obeng himself was there?
Yeah, he came. He came. And the boss guy, Afeji, some young guy.
It's called Afeji
Awono. Yeah, I'm told.
That's Professor Awono's son.
Yeah.
Yes.
So when boss was about completing, I left. So by the time I came back, TOR was about finishing.
Okay.
So Edmond Combat, and I saw the figures. So for me, the story at TOR is a sorry one. The $517 million debt as captured at the end of the 2024 financial year was not surprising to me, knowing the issues at all over the years. But what he also did say was that they decided to do some reconciliations, renegotiations, and validations. And as at end June this year, the debt of $517 million
US dollars,
had reduced to $440 million. And that the validation is still ongoing. And they are hoping that they should be able to make some further gains in there. But the debt starts from around, if you go into their books, 2009, 2010. In fact, they owe Sahara, they owe GNPC, they owe Boss, host of them. From 2009 to 2023 or so. And my major worry is that, because Edmond, as Issa said, I mean, he looks promising. He looks promising.
You mean Edmond Combat?
Yes.
Okay.
He looks
Have you met,
promising.
after your interaction with him?
Yeah, I mean, I could deduce that he has a fair knowledge and appreciation of the issues. Later, I heard that he used to work when Wadakon was the boss over there.
Yeah.
He made a plea to us for the committee to help them to restructure their debt. In fact, Tor is even owing GRA to the tune of $13.6 million or so.
It's not just GRA. I'm sure they even. I'm told they even owe SNET.
No, SNET
is a different matter.
SNET, according to Combat,
it's been cleared.
That matter had been resolved.
Okay.
I'm talking about the outstanding $13.6 million owed to GRA.
GRA, $13.6 million US dollars.
Yeah, and they are pleading with us to engage GRA to set that one off. Okay, because
as in to ring fence it.
Yeah, no,
or
write
just
it off. Yeah.
Write it off.
Yeah,
that's what.
Yeah. So I think the committee will meet with the minister. We get a report done. We'll meet with the minister. 3 of the agencies that have critical issues for us to see how we should help them. My other worry is the emergence or the establishment of the Petroleum Hub Development Corporation that is planning to establish a petroleum hub in our country. Okay, it's planning to have about 3 refineries, each of them the capacity of 300,000 barrels a day. So if you're able to get all these 3 on course, then we are talking about 900,000 barrels per day.
You mean the Petroleum Hub?
Yeah.
Is planning on building an oil refinery?
It's a petroleum hub.
Yes.
That is their plan. That's the
Yes.
objective.
Yes.
And as part of their plans, they are supposed to have 3 refineries in this country.
Yes.
5 petrochemical laboratories.
Yes.
2 or more jetties and all that. And I'm saying that their capacity is going to be more than the capacity of Tor. Tor is now doing 45,000 barrels a day, but now they are saying that because they'll be able to modernize some of their equipment, modernize some of their terminals, okay, and upgrade some of their laboratories, they can do 60,000 barrels a day, okay. But that one is subject to getting the crude distillation unit in operation. That's what Combat said, that in September, October, they are convinced that they'll be able to get that one done. And when that one is done, and we can do 60,000 barrels a day, then our daily demand for crude oil, which is mostly imported, the refined product imported, of 100,000. If we can do 60,000, then we have a deficit of about 40,000. And for me, that makes sense, okay? And when they are also able to deal with their residual fluid catalytic cracker, which can also help us to transform residual product into, for example, premium gas oil, and also LPG. These sound good, but how are we going to get the resources in dealing with their debt, find them some money to get all these good ideas done. And again, we're also having the Petroleum Hub, which has a bigger and larger ambition and prospect. So this is a decision the Minister of Energy and Green Transition and the board will have to decide and look at the best way forward for this country.
But that's why the Petroleum Hub, I don't know if the story I read yesterday, was it yesterday or 2 days ago, is anything to go by, where they're saying that they want to transform it to become an authority so they can go and borrow on their own books, just like what others are doing. Yes.
Yeah. I mean,
I'm sure they told you that.
I mean, these are fantastic ideas. My question to them when we met at Alisa, I think also on Sunday was, how are they convincing us that it's not going to be a white elephant?
Yes.
Okay, because you can.
It's a very legitimate question.
And we are going to invest about $60 billion in 3 phases. Okay, it's huge money. You start looking at competition within the sub-region, okay, and also global competition. How are we going to survive? But they have a beautiful, progressive financial model. I mean, that is okay. But how do you juxtapose that with TOR? TOR is performing a function that is going to be performed and even enhanced by a Petroleum Hub. Do we need both? And these are issues I think that we need to address, okay? My point is that, and again, we have also been told by JNPC that our oil volumes are going down, declining.
Yeah.
Unless we are able to discover more oil wells, that will give us more oil. Otherwise, we need to import the crude and refine them here per the strategy of the Petroleum Hub. Okay, so listening to combat their projections and what they want to do, I think that the ideas are fine. If you're able to recapitalize TOR, if you're able to deal with their debt position, and they start operating. What I disagree with him was when he said that inefficiencies had not been part of the reasons why TOR is where it is, but because of our inability to import crude oil. For me, I disagree with him on that. You cannot tell me that inefficiencies are not part of the reasons why we are where we are, okay? But I will support any idea to revamp it only when I'm convinced that we will be able to deal with all these shortfalls, all these losses, okay? And how the Petroleum Hub is not going to overshadow and make the position of TOR not very relevant to the cause of this country, okay? Otherwise, this is a state asset owned by the country. And John Jinapor, my very good friend, I think he has some challenges on his hands, how to navigate us away from these perennial issues, okay? TOR had been idle for about 4 years, okay? There's a skeletal staff there that is paid. And in fact, the one thing was that, according to the acting MD, most of the staff have left. Yeah. They've left the country. Because why do you come to work when you are not producing, you are not doing anything in line with your knowledge? You come to work and you do...
And these are highly skilled labor,
And we've lost them.
Whose expertise are needed by other countries.
Yeah, we lost them. So if these two critical facilities are done, I'm talking about the CDU and the residual freeze catalytic cracker, if they are done, and they can give us the needed backups and revenue, that will, in the long term, help us to stay afloat in terms of our finances, and also because you see, importing $400 million of crude oil every month is huge money. It's huge money, and that is one reason why our city is always suffering.
Yeah.
Because the moment the price of crude oil soars, as we are seeing right now, then it puts pressure on our currency.
True.
Because we import more than we export.
We export.
Okay? And sadly...
So we're a net importer of...
Yeah, of crude oil.
Yeah.
And sadly, our oil resource is dwindling.
It's depleting.
Yes. So if we are not able to get additional work, in fact, GMPC has done a lot of work. Okay, so they are working on additional oils and all that. Yes. But the prospects at times, you might do the research and it tells you that, okay, this is what you're going to get. But when you go deeper, you might not get the volume that you require. Okay, so these are tiny issues. That is why for me, the idea of shifting to green energy is fantastic. Renewable energy is what we need to be looking at, because that one, because they are natural resources, they are there, they are renewable. Wind is there, isn't it? Solar is there. Why are you not investing money into that? And I've seen that. Boss is thinking in that direction. I saw that they are changing their name to bulk energy, whatever. So now bulk oil is not the energy. So they're making broader, okay?
Oh, because they're also undertaking, or they're undergoing some transformation.
Yeah, I mean,
from BOST to
all of them. For me, all of them might be thinking about how we can incorporate green energy into our energy mix.
Okay.
Because the hydro, the Tema, these are expensive. If you take hydro, Tema, gas, they're very expensive. Okay, but if you have cheaper resources, why don't you invest more into that? Okay, so as for Tor, the issues are there. We all know them. I don't want to believe that some person deliberately, because of advantages that they want to make in terms of benefits, deliberately want Tor to go down. Because
who could that possibly be?
I said I don't want to believe, because you see,
which players in the industry would be affected adversely if Tor is functioning optimally?
Those who import the oil.
They will still import the raw, the raw crude and bring it down for Tor to refine.
From what Edmond Combat told us,
okay,
if you're able to do the 60%, it means that we have a shortfall of 40%. Yeah, shortfall. So that 40% will be what others will be importing, right? Yes. And don't forget that we also have Centio.
Yes.
Centio is doing
the Chinese firm.
Yeah, it's doing about 40%. So if Tor is in full stream, full capacity, it's doing 60%. It's like 40%, isn't it?
Yes.
Assuming 20% or 30% will go to Centio, depending on the price levels. How much will be left for us to bring it into the country?
But the other question is that the ones that the Petroleum Hub intends to set up, what are they going to refine? Because 100% is gone.
Their plan. Okay, yes. I mean, this is a little question, but they are saying that they are thinking of letting investors bring their own crude oil to be refined here.
Okay.
That is their game plan.
Right.
The investors should bring their crude oil, then they are refined here for them.
Okay.
But the point I'm making is that those importers, they bring in refined crude oil. So when they bring them, they don't have to be refined again. Isn't it?
That's true.
So they will lose some revenue. I'm not saying that.
But let me ask you this. I'm not somebody who is deeply knowledgeable in this sector. terms of how the BDCs interplay with TOR and BOST and so on and so forth. I have just a fair idea of how it works out. But at the very least, I know that BDCs are the ones that actually say they're the ones who import their products into the country. Are the BDCs estopped or barred from importing raw crude oil to be refined?
They are not.
Okay.
They are not.
If they are not, how would they be adversely affected?
No, the point I'm saying that, you see, I'm just thinking aloud. I'm saying that the challenges that TOR is going to should not be at the benefit of somebody who thinks that when TOR is doing well, then their business may be hindered in a way.
Okay.
That's the point I'm making.
I get it.
Because you see, if TOR is in full swing, and the number of crude oil in their refined state that you import into this country is limited or reduced,
okay,
then you are losing some margins, okay, isn't it?
Yeah.
So I'm saying that I don't want to believe that might be a reason why TOR has been rendered in this state. I'll give Combat and his team the benefit of the doubt by relying on his knowledge, at least what he demonstrated there. With the plans, you were talking about their
work program.
Program,
yes,
the
strategy.
strategy.
You have it?
Yeah,
okay.
I think I have some of them here.
Okay.
So for 2025, right? Because largely they are focusing on the two equipment, the CDU and the RFCC. That is what they feel that if they be able to get them, for example, they cannot operate fully if the CDU is not done by October. Because the chief director asked him, what are the plans? And he said that per the analysis and all that, they should be able. So we are waiting till September to see whether what they've said will be able to be accomplished. And the RFCC, I think they said end year or early January, they should be able to get these things done. And able to get these things done per their assumptions and their financial modeling, we will be able to make it viable. You remember, sometime in March, somebody by the name Dr. Suleiman also had come out to say that TOR needed 25 million USD.
Yeah, Dr. Suleiman was then the acting MD. It was then reassigned to the finance ministry. It was reassigned to finance ministry. So, and then Combat elevated from deputy to acting.
So he made that
statement.
It
was captured all over the newspapers.
But TOR came with a statement to say that 25 million was just to deal with the CDU.
Yeah.
And that they need more money to be able to get it back. But the issue is that if you need more money, that will go beyond the dividends that you are going to make. Then it doesn't make sense.
Okay.
Yeah.
Then it doesn't make sense. So I wish, as I said, Combat was a student at the University of Ghana. I remember 2013, he was SRC president also. Yeah.
Very brilliant person.
And I wish him the very best. He should do something.
Let me also add that he's a Harvard product.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
Yeah, he's a Harvard product.
So I wish him.
Now a lawyer.
He's also a lawyer.
Yeah, I think so.
I see. Yeah. I recall when he graduated, his pictures were all over on social media.
He has command over his staff.
Okay. Yeah.
And I don't have a single doubt that he will perform.
About his competencies. Anyway.
I mean, this is a state asset. If it functions well, it inures to our collective benefits.
No doubt about that.
We need to support it to work well, okay? For our collective benefit. No politics in some of these state institutions.
Right.
And when he came there, I didn't see any element of politics in his discussion. The moment you bring in politics, then you disorient the thinking and the goodwill in some of these
All right. And you know, the thought discussion has become even more critical. As I said in my opening remarks, that we know what's happening in the Middle East, and we ought to start taking remedial actions to make sure that, you know, we're able to insulate ourselves from some of these headwinds that keep hitting us.
When we met last time, the two of us met, last 2 weeks or so, on Thursday, you asked a very critical question, because Atofosin has said that the 1 cedi, no, was it 1 cedi per?
Yeah, just the 1 cedi levy.
Levy of 4.5 whatever. So, he made that projection based on assumption of a strong cedi, isn't it? By that time, fuel prices were taking a nosedive, about 67. You asked,
65, yes.
You asked that if global issues emerge negatively, it will affect us. You know what I mean? So at times in politics, we must be very careful when we make certain pronouncements. We must look at all the assumptions.
Yeah.
And because for me, if the fundamental of this country has been strengthened, if the government main intervention, 24-hour economy, has been operationalized, that for me is the bedrock and the foundation of our industrial enhancement.
You haven't heard that the passport office is running 24 hours?
It is not enough.
EVL has also started.
You know, I used to be a board member at Ghana Publishing Company Limited.
Yes.
I'm told that they are doing some form of 24-hour economy there.
Yes.
But I know is that the same staff is being used to operate a shift system.
Okay.
That for me is not my understanding 24-hour economy. Shift system is not, okay? It should lead to increase in employment. We should also have some form of resources that will increase productivity, that will increase volumes of what we produce. Then you know that these are going to be the bedrock, because if you enter the economy, you add value to whatever you do, you get foreign exchange to be an anchor of your economy. Then foreign exchange volatility, when it happens, might not affect you deeply.
Right.
But if all your hopes are banked on that, as we speak, you cannot tell me, in all honesty, that there have been major economic interventions that are leading the socioeconomic turnaround of this country. You cannot tell me. Maybe we are yet to see them. And I'm saying that we will see them on the back of that major policy statement of 24-hour economy. That is what, as I said at that time, will convince me that we are on the right track. If, at the end of the day, my brother, in politics, you can do whatever you want to do. You can do the nice things. But if you lose, you lose. Because human nature, human beings and our nature, your attitude alone and not what you have done can make society reject you. So for me, we must do well and good for our people, so that we all benefit, isn't it?
Right.
That is my philosophy in doing politics. I mean, it's not that I have to lie or I have to be dishonest. I don't do that.
All right. Let me do this quickly. We'll take a break, and then I'll get to concluding remarks, and we'll move on to our second topic, because the time is not our best friend at the moment. So Ugochukwu, who is a regular, viewer of the show, he is sending us this message, I believe from Nigeria. I believe so. It says that greetings tomorrow and all of us. He says, please give my greetings and warm regards to Chief Kingsley Nyakun. He was an amazing leader at the National Accreditation Board, now GTEC. I'm sure you know him, Ugochukwu. He's called Ugochukwu Inweke. Very popular man. He's also a marriage counselor. Yes. He says his accessibility, empathy, and innovative approach to resolving the challenges private universities faced were commendable. I congratulate and wish him the best in this new path. Now to the more substantive issue. It's also surprising that anytime crude and related products in Nigeria are being discussed, Dangote is mentioned. And Dangote, we all know, is a private company. And it says, please, we must remember that Dangote is a private enterprise. Now, the state oil refineries in Nigeria are facing the same operational inefficiencies that ISA has decried. Now, the West African question is, how do we make our state institutions work effectively and efficiently? So until and unless we're able to answer this question, we're just wasting our time, you know. And Kofi Capito is back. Now, Kofi Capito wants to know this, and I think it's also a legitimate question. He wants to know, so from 2003, I started saying we are collecting the toll levy recovery, the toll debt recovery levy. How much has been collected, and what has the money been used for? It's a very simple question.
Yeah, I think that from what I saw,
you demanded that from.
No, but I mean, I think he gave us some indications about ESLA payments that have not come to them.
Yes,
about 17 point something. I've forgotten the denomination.
Okay,
but they gave an indication from 2016 till now that the ESLA payments, they will not receive them.
Wow.
Yeah, they will not receive them. And these are some of the issues they want the committee to help them. Yeah, yeah.
Wow, that's interesting. That's very, very interesting. So we'll take a little breather. We've been talking for almost 2 hours. I think that we'll just take about some 30 seconds to about a minute breather. And then when we're back, I'll get Issa to, say a few things, and then we can move to MPP. We are the new patriotic party. We are the new patriotic party. The elephant, the winning symbol.
Car Center in Ghana, offering unparalleled round-the-clock service in autos and accessories. Nadam Autofix is the biggest distributors of used tires in Ghana, offering first-grade second-hand car tires of all rim sizes at both wholesale and retail prices. We are also the leading name in car sensor diagnostics, corrections and sales of car accessories. We excel in car washing and detailing with state-of-the-art steam engine washing machines that keep water away from your engine, ensuring a clean, healthy and responsive engine. Nadam Autofix, the first name in servicing, car accessories and car washing. Visit us today and experience the world of class difference. Find us today at Asoridaho, directly opposite Dansoman KFC and the Shell filling station. For more details, you can call us on 0503 244 266 or 0535 339823. Nado Motofix, Wokwanso Nyonko Papa.
Wabedum Temaso. Hey, J. Watch it, na learning. Missy, watch and learn. Makwema besisia. Abozing. Akache say no ya konate and the more drink woman. Hey. But I didn't mean. Oh, sorry. She knew her old days. Eji. Dabio, baby wom. Ready. Hey, baby wom. Ah, Aji! I'll cause some discomfort. Uncle! Sorry, well, uncle, where would the dad? Why your funeral? At your phone for Aerofield Trading. Sorry, it killed them all.
No mum share nanda danya was mosquito call esudu womunumu. Na say spray with them musa. Chansima edronum ansana ko dynamo.
And Kratoi FDA Ajatum.
Smart, smooth, interactive, and a built-in Android active panel. Made for modern work and home. For corporate clients and university students, enjoy top quality 10th generation Toshiba laptops built for performance, power, clarity, and speed, all in one desktop. At Mycom JA Computers, get a laptop for as low as 1,000 Ghana cedis. All products are imported from the USA with a 1-year warranty. Visit Mycom JA Computers today and elevate your tech.
MGL Logistics and Supply is your trusted partner, providing seamless solutions for all your procurement needs. From sourcing products to managing imports and exports, we ensure smooth and efficient transactions every step of the way. Whether you require goods from across the globe or need assistance in exporting your products to international markets, we got you covered. General trading is at the heart of our expertise. We specialize in a wide range of products, catering to various industries and markets. As a trusted dealership in building materials, we provide high-quality products that meet the demands of our construction projects. Additionally, we act as manufacturers' representatives, connecting producers with distributors. Our expertise in logistics is the backbone of our operations. We plan and execute transportation and delivery of goods, ensuring they reach their destination on time and in optimal condition. MGO Logistics and Supply, guaranteed satisfaction.
Where to get polytank?
Oh, and you're fine.
Go straight.
Oh, I want to left, right.
That's right. Ghana na yewono. So when you do more, and you're data. Who knows? Abe, na here. Mr. Polytank at all. And you just come in here by you to be a never you. Oh, food to be a enjoy your craft.
Akuya Bulambo Kotoman.
Like they took my eyes. Go to the distributor and you give the original Polytank. Papananka. You get a sound?
Polytank. Papananka Sankasa.
Mommy.
Michelle say, fe.
Different era, better result. Time has changed and time has brought Kel Choco toothpaste, healthy gums, anti-cavity, fresher breath, and it whitens teeth. Kel Choco toothpaste, Sankofa.
Yenchi, Kel Choco toothpaste.
Happy smile.
This advert is FDA approved.
Buy affordable service plots and lands from Estate Masters. Currently selling our next cottage, located at the newly proposed airport city, with a starting price of 25,000 Ghana cedis. We also have Palm Hills, located at Panfukuro in the Gomwa East District, also with a starting price of 15,000 Ghana cedis. Available also is Coastal Park in Lakpleku, which is a 15-minute drive from the Ningo Senior High School, having a starting price of 55,000 Ghana cedis. You will receive a free site plan with indenture once you successfully purchase a land from us. For any enquiries, contact the numbers provided. Estate Masters, your most preferred estate partner.
You're still live on Good Morning Ghana on Metro Television. My name is Aldo Moro, and I'm here with that's Mr. Atta Issa, who is the Honorable Member of Parliament for the Sakanero constituency in the Tamale region, and that northern region of Ghana. He's here with us, and also a member of the Finance Committee. And also joining us this morning, or also with us this morning, is a Professor Kingsley Nyakon, who is a Member of Parliament for the Kwadaso constituency. We're having a very important discussion about Ghana's state assets, Tema Oil Refinery, and what to do with that asset. It's on the back of the appearance before the Energy Committee, the acting MD for that enterprise, and also other ones like BOST and so on, and MP and so on, and the state in which these institutions find themselves. But Tema Oil Refinery has been of grave concern to us, so we looked at what the way forward should be. I noticed that you want to make some concluding remarks quickly so that we can move to our next topic. Ataisa.
I think that the whole value chain that Petroleum Hub wants to do, we must make it very intentional, not to create other difficulties for TOR, because the establishment of TOR has a clear mandate, so that we industrialize this country. So any other effort that is also geared towards refining crude oil, that one should be placed only at the doorstep of TOR. That's what I think. Then Prof was saying Ghana publishing or something like that, 24-hour economy there.
It's a shift system.
The shift system. I think if you look at most of the institutions, the total staff strength is high to the extent that some people don't even have, with the existing arrangement we have in Ghana now, they don't even have space for them to work. I know many institutions.
But GPC that I cited, I was there, so they had space to work.
Why didn't you pick them at that time? If they were in space, why didn't you?
No, I mean, they were working, but I'm saying that what you guys have done is that instead of them allowing them to do the normal 8 hours or so, they divide them into two. Some come during the day, some come during the night.
That's what I'm saying.
Nothing has changed.
No, that's what I'm
Nothing
saying, that
changed.
maybe you are not getting the concept well. The concept or the idea is that places where the staff strength is already there, but they are not utilized well, you need to make them operate at full efficiency. And if you remember, you made a claim that some workers of even TOR had agreed to even leave the country because of underutilization. So I'm of the view that most agencies, for example, I was at DVLA. If you look at the staff strength of DVLA, it will even take us 3 years without recruitment because the place is choked. And it is similar in most organizations. So the 24-hour economy is not supposed to create inefficiency. It's rather supposed to create efficiency for our people. And
but you should understand what you're saying. You know, oftentimes, one of the things that when you were campaigning for elections, you had said was going to be a major source of employment in the 24-hour economy.
Have you seen the framework?
Well, I have not seen the entire framework. But if the candidate at the time and all your spokespersons have said at the time was anything to go by, I mean, job creation is at the heart of the 24-hour economy.
And
so that's where he's coming from. And he's saying that if you go to a place like, say, Ghana Publishing Company Limited, and you have a situation where there has not been even one addition to the staff strength, and yet you're running a 24-hour economy. So where's the job creation?
You see,
that's where he's coming from.
No, Prof, but one thing you should know is that the job creation and other benefits of the policy is an outcome. It's not the event itself.
Yes.
The 24-hour economy must lead to something.
Yes.
And as we speak now, we haven't finished the draft. And in fact, 2 days ago, the presidency sent 28 pages document on the framework towards the implementation. So
it's not in full swing.
Exactly. Okay. So it is when the implementation is done, then the fruits of it, which is employment, increased volumes of production, and all those, will now be the benefit of the
So there's a
policy.
difference between a state-owned enterprise saying that we've started a 24-hour services, as compared to we're now members of the 24-hour economy program.
In fact,
because then you would have to abide and work within a certain framework, which is still being crafted. So I get
but let me, over the weekend when we met, one of the agencies that we spoke to was Exim Bank. And there's a secretariat at the presidency that is directly responsible with Exim Bank in terms of coordination of the 24-hour secretariat. The idea is that we want to do an import substitution economy and export-led. So the prime agency to drive that is the Ghana Exim Bank. Now, the 24-hour economy is not entirely public. We were categorical during the campaign that we'll be doing smart metering program, financing, security, and other benefits. So if you look at it, President Mahama only talked about essential services in the public sector, not every organization. We were very clear, and it's in our manifesto, that we specifically mentioned institutions and sectors that we are targeting in the public sector. But this initiative is a private-led initiative. Okay. That is why we are saying that we are bringing a framework that companies can access, and the benefits that accrues as a result of signing, when people see it, they will be tempted to follow the 24 hours. So this is not like we have won just 5.5 months to the after we have won, then you expect to see 24 hours. I think that's not the best.
Okay. I mean, with respect, the issue I raised was to support an observation I had made. And it was that until I see the full implementation of the 24-hour economy and how it is going to drive our industrialization agenda, increase productivity, add value to products, increase our export volumes, then any purported statement that the city had been stabilized, for me, would be artificial, because when the city strength starts going down, we'll be exposed. So there's no need to, because I know that the policy has not been fully implemented, but I'm saying that I want to see its fruits for me to be convinced that the trajectory that we are experiencing was as a result of a strong industrialized base economy.
Okay,
so you don't need to. I also know that the Minister for Local Government, Chief Tension Religious Affairs, has indicated that they are going to embark upon 24-hour market.
Model markets.
Market, you know what I mean? But you've not seen how it's going to be done and the jobs.
No, have you been speaking with the assembly?
Okay.
It's now localized.
Okay.
But in my assembly, nothing has been done. But I had discussion with the Minister for Local Government, Chief Tension Affairs, Chief Tension Religious Affairs, and he told me the plans in that regard. But in my constituency, quite that so.
All right.
Nothing has been done.
So let's wait for the blueprint.
Yes.
Let's wait for the
In fact, it's even out. No, so that I know the mischief that was inside the...
No mischief.
No, because the way you presented it suggested that we were late or something.
You are late.
How? Did we give you a month that will implement it?
So should we wait forever?
No, but you don't direct the way we should run the country.
Oh, no, I'm a Ghanaian. I have the right to ask questions.
Yes.
And your questions are legitimate, and we are providing with a response to the effect that
I don't have the right to demand.
No, I didn't say, I said that you don't have the right to direct us.
To direct you.
Because if you say it is late, it means that you had an expectation that a certain period of time, the 24 hours.
Most Ghanaians hold that view.
How do you do that assessment? Okay. How do you check that?
No, I speak. So your constituents are not expecting you to act now?
How do you... No, don't bring that. My constituents we told them that President Mahama would implement a 24-hour economy. How? 5 months to election, after an election.
Let's make progress. Let's make progress.
When did we even set up the government?
So let's make progress. I beg you. We don't have all day.
No problem.
Yes. I'm sure Honorable's constituents are also asking what is happening to their party.
Sorry?
The constituents are only just interested in bread and butter.
Yes,
they also want to understand what's happening there in their dear party, the New Patriotic Party. NPP. So a number of things have happened, and Prof, and this is the first time you and I are going to have this conversation. Yeah. We know where all of this is coming from. Yeah. There was a National Council meeting, decisions were made, 2 key decisions. One, there's going to be a conference next month. I think 16th or 19th or so of July, and also 13th.